What's up, everybody? It's Geoff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal, joined as always by Sean Reider. Sean, how you doing?
Good, Grammer. Good to see you.
This is our weekly two shows in a row weekly ABQ Sports Journal Live, Albuquerque Journal Sports Live. We're still open for suggestions on a wonderfully catchy name there. I will also work on some different what is the pre-show music. Maybe we'll get a theme song. Maybe we can get like an actual that's what we'll put out.
I'm a big fan of that.
Submit their own theme song, and we'll have like the 1 minute kind of countdown to let people log in before we start blabbing. Instead of the typical StreamYard provided mellow elevator music, maybe we can get something maybe a little more appropriate. Maybe Blueberry Hill. I heard it through the grapevine. Those are some options.
Wow. If any of our listeners are musically talented, I can't guarantee we'll pay you, but
I can guarantee you we probably will not pay you.
We probably won't, but if you want to try it, we could use it.
Let's see, what do we got here? We already
Richie, good to see you, man. I'm happy to be back on the schedule. Let's do this.
And look, why waste any time? We're a minute into it. Any update on Lobo men's basketball schedule? The only updates are these. The ones that they
East Texas A&M,
yeah. East Texas A&M will be the opener November 5th. Northern Arizona will be the exhibition game October 30th. And they will do a private closed-door scrimmage in California against Santa Clara, the return of a home-and-home scrimmage contract that they had, that Patino had set up last year. They had scrimmaged Santa Clara in the pit last year, and it was a contract that requires UNM to return that this year. So closed-door scrimmage at Santa Clara. I'm sure you guys will all be waiting very patiently for me to hopefully get a copy of that box score if the coaches decide to release it. It's up to them.
Are you going to go to Santa Clara and just wait outside the door?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I will be and
press your ear up against like the door.
Well, I was gonna say, if I wait outside the door, I mean, we're talking like maybe try the old cup to the door thing if that helps at all.
I hear basketball's in there, so they must be doing something with the basketball.
Oh, that was a whistle. Someone's fouling. The Lobos either have a foul problem or they draw fouls. So. All right. So that's unfortunately that is the only update on Lobo basketball scheduling I have. Obviously, they do have the Thanksgiving tournament where they will be playing Nebraska first, and then the winner or loser of this. Oh, geez, man, I should remember, but I think it's St. Mary's and USC are the other ones, maybe. Oh, yeah, maybe I should know that. Oh no, Ole Miss is not Ole Miss. Mississippi State's one of them because Chris Jans is the other. On the other side of the brackets, and there's a potential Chris Jans versus UNM Lobo matchup. So, yeah, maybe the Lobo basketball guys should get up to speed on the schedule a little bit, huh? All right, Sean. Here we go. Here, where does 27 years old rank in terms of the oldest active FBS players?
So Lobo Leroy is talking about UNM has added one kid right on the eve of fall camp, and my hunch is that they might actually have a couple, like one or two or three others that we don't quite know about coming in. I don't know for sure. That's my hunch. But this kid, not a kid, he's older than me, actually. I just turned 25 yesterday. He is older than me, 2 years older. That's 3 years.
Just turned 20. Timeout. You just turned 25?
I didn't know my birthday is July 27th. I didn't know Grammer and his daughter. I didn't know me and his daughter Amelia had the same birthday. So happy birthday, Amelia.
I don't pay attention to the company HR emails that probably told me your birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday. I didn't even know it was your birthday. I was a little distracted with the 6-year-old.
That's pretty fair. I wasn't like butthurt, like, oh, Grammer didn't text me. Oh, man.
Well, she kept telling me, she's like, have you texted Sean, Dad? And why? It's why would I text Sean? It's your birthday. So first of all, happy birthday. Hope you celebrated with some blueberry pie and some grape anything. But
I got catfish. It was good. Got fried catfish.
All right, with some blueberry drizzle I don't know. But you're only 25. Like, I knew you were 20s, but like, just to hear you say I am now 25, like you're on the front end of 25.
I was 22 when I started here. I was the youngest person in the newsroom, far and away. Certainly acted like it too. But to get back to it, Lobo Leroy, UNM has added Daniel Hughes. He should be there on Wednesday for the start of fall camp. Today is report day, by the way. He is a 27-year-old transfer from the City College of San Francisco. And he only played one season at City College San Francisco. He previously played for the Northern Bull Ants in the Victorian Football League, which is Australian rules football. That is not rugby. Australian rules football and rugby are similar, but they are different. I don't know exactly how they're different, but they are.
It's footy. Hugh Greenwood plays footy. That's Australian rules football. That is not rugby. That is footy.
Footy. Richie, by the way, thank you. Appreciate it. Yes. Richie, we let us know when your birthday is. We'll give you a birthday shout out. But Lobo Leroy, 27 years old, I think historically has obviously been older for a college football player, but now where it is a little more normal to have a guy, all the Australian guys that come in and punt and all that, like those guys are usually all older. Obviously like COVID, guys getting like, 7th years of eligibility and all that, like Cam Davis at Minnesota is going into like his 7th year of football. Like those guys are going to be older too, not quite 27, obviously.
I'll say too, even before some of the COVID years and some of the recent years where hardship waivers were kind of just being approved, rubber stamped, approved no matter what. Even before that, there was always one or two guys every year that was often with military background.
Yeah.
That
Colby Brewer last year. I mean,
yeah, there'd be a 28-year-old playing somewhere who went to the military out of high school or just didn't do anything out of high school, but didn't start their clock. It only matters when you start your college clock in terms of eligibility. You could be 50. I don't know how good you'd be, but you could be 50 and play college. So, there you go.
For those who don't remember last year, UNM had Colby Brewer, who was 29 years old. He was a former Navy EOD, and he played last season at UNM. I don't think he's playing anywhere this season. He's not on the roster at UNM, and he's not at Utah State as far as I can tell. I've checked multiple times to try and see where he's at. So. But yeah, I mean, it's older than me, but I don't think it's that dramatically older and all that too. And there is a case of I think there's a guy down in Arkansas who played, and there was the LSU guy who did this too, the LSU punter, who they played baseball, just played pro baseball for a bit and did all that. But anyways, I'm rambling.
Sean was 22 when he got here, and he acted like it. I was not 22 when I got here and am not 22 now, but I act like I was 22 pretty much every day. As Sean can attest, and as Lucas, who I'm sure our sports editor is, he's a loyal listener and watcher of this show. So I'm sure he can chime in. Whenever I come into the office, which isn't all the time, I admittedly am not in the office a whole lot. But when I am, it's all business. I don't put up with shenanigans. I don't put up with Sean acting a fool, acting like a 22-year-old or a 25-year-old now. I don't put up with it. It is quiet time. Let's get to work. Let's get to business. And that is what it's like when I'm in the office. Thank you, Lobo Leroy. Sean, some other things that I want to talk about before we kind of focus on what I don't want to call this a preview show, but sort of unofficially.
It kind of is. It's report day. I mean,
unofficial sort of entering camp preview show. That's right, shenanigans. I don't put up with it. No tomfoolery on my my watch.
No, none of it. We always get all of our work done when we're together in the office, and we don't talk for 6 hours straight, and then 8 p.m. rolls around. We don't have to quickly file something by that point in the night.
That is correct. All right, so a couple things I want to touch base on before Lobo basketball summer workouts will wrap up this week. They also have a camp going on this week. They do both. They have a kids camp going on this week, but Friday will be the last day of summer workouts. Then the guys get a couple weeks. Some of them can go home. The international guys probably will not be going home. There is a media availability that I'll be at on Friday to kind of talk to Eric Olin, wrap up his thoughts on summer. There's not been much. This isn't a complaint. It's understandable. There's not been much media access to the team so far. So, an entirely new roster, entirely new coaching staff. They're getting to know each other, and just the building. Last thing they wanted was just a whole bunch of media eyes on them all summer. So I don't think that's going to be the norm during the season. But for now, they had a couple of open workouts where media was able to go. I think Booster, some of you guys watching who are like 505 members, 505 Sports Venture Fund and boosters and stuff like that, you guys probably had more access to them than did the media because, frankly, if you give money, they're not telling you to go away. So you guys probably got to watch more practices than did I. So I am curious to hear what they say about as summer wraps up. Tameo Pons, the French, the 6'9", listed as 6. Was he listed 6'8", 6'8", 6'9", 6'8"? Let's call it 6'8". Guard from France who played really well in the under-19 FIBA World Cup for France. He is in the country now. I got here this weekend. Everybody's here, president accounted for, no student visa issues like Nelly Jr. Joseph of 2 years ago. Nelly Jr. Joseph has signed, by the way, his first pro deal, and in Kosovo and Kosovo.
No. It's in France. Augsburg.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's going
to Strasbourg.
Where Tameo Pons is from, because that's the connection I had in my head was France. Anyway, so good timing, right? Lobo Dog.
He just said he posted his Instagram story. I think he was at Lobo Village or whatever. So
so he was here. One other thing I want to touch on kind of before we get into a little bit more of this football stuff. And I did have an article today. It was from last week's Economic Forum, which was a breakfast that is monthly. It is local business leaders and movers and shakers getting together to talk business. How can we help each other? Here's what we're doing. Look at the exciting stuff our business has going on. Well, the business of UNM athletics was the topic last week, and Fernando Lobo was the guest speaker. He reiterated an awful lot of stuff that he has already spoken to in the past when he was lobbying Santa Fe to get more money from the state, which he did, when he was lobbying the Board of Regents to approve a student fee increase, which was successful. He's lobbied to fundraisers basically and gotten this is a record-setting fiscal year that closed June 30th for fundraising at the Lobo Club. He's kind of checked all those boxes. Now he's sort of hitting the local business community saying, we need your buy-in. We need you guys to help, and it could be a mutually beneficial thing. If we get Lobo football, frankly, Lobo athletics, but Lobo football specifically, right, it helps the whole town. People come to town. People start paying attention more. People are just start getting more active and involved in general with athletics, and the mood is different. And when that happens, the economy tends to go up a little bit. There's people out and about, that kind of stuff. He needs the buy-in of the business community, and he kind of set an unofficial deadline of 2030. Is look, we got till 2030 to get things right here, so let's start now. 2030 being sort of the unofficial next wave of realignment in a lot of industry insiders' minds, because that is when some of the major conference, the power conference media rights deals expire. When that happens and you go to market for a new media rights deal, that's when you start doing all the shuffling of how do we make our conference as strong as can be, so CBS Sports or Fox Sports or whoever gives us the most money. So that tends to suggest 2030, around that time, will be the next wave of conference realignment. UNM, as we all know, got left behind with 5 departing Mountain West schools rebuilding the pack, and UNM doesn't want to be left behind again if there is another move. It doesn't mean they want to leave the Mountain West. In 4 or 5 years, the Mountain West may be sitting actually pretty solid and pretty well. But the point is, UNM doesn't want to have the question and the control out of their hands or out of its hands. So Fernando Lobo talking to business leaders is really now starting to push the buy-in from them. And to that, I will let Sean talk or speak to one other point before we get to football, which is the football facility upgrades. Yes. And you've written, we had questions about last week, but you wrote about it. So what can you update people on about what you reported about some of the facility upgrade or the major project anyway that's going on with Lobo Football Stadium?
Yeah, I will start off and say we talked about it a little bit last week too. I give Fernando credit for actually putting the 2030 date out there, as this is when we want things to kind of be at a good level.
Yeah, ADs and coaches don't put deadlines on things.
They do not do that. I give them a lot of credit for doing that and being transparent about that. And that to me was the most interesting part of, when you talked about form with me last week, then obviously the story as well. But I did not get to it when we did the show last week. I got to it later on. Obviously, it was 2 weeks ago now. UNM put out the release that they are replacing the old Daktronic video board. The actual size of the board is not going to change. It's still going to be 80 feet by 32 feet, but they are kind of swapping out the pixel panels and all of that to get a sharper, color. I think the technology has been upgraded since when the video board was originally installed in, I think, 2013. So it's going to be a more high-tech board and all that too. So that's coming in. It should be ready by September 6th, which is the home opener, and probably by the end of August, frankly. That was the impression that I got. But also, Fernando did not, when I spoke with him, share a ton of specifics on what is next. He did kind of tease that there's going to be something, not quite a facilities improvement more or less, but something outside the stadium to kind of, help fan engagement and all that. But he made it clear there are absolutely parts of University Stadium that he wants renovated and all that too. The bathrooms in particular he cited were one area that he would like upgraded as well. He talked about how, and this is something I've heard from fans too, there aren't really concourses in University Stadium, and it gets really hot at University Stadium. It's pretty hard to kind of take refuge from, if you're doing an afternoon game from the sun, because it's just kind of unrelenting, especially, in late August, in September and all that too. So that's something that's, they're going to be kind of thinking about to a certain point. I don't know if that's going to lead to, a hard and fast installation plan and all that too. They have put out for an RFP, request for proposal, to kind of solicit, some advice and some consulting.
It's a bid.
Bid.
Yeah.
Bid. Oh,
choking here.
With architects and all that to and developers to kind of advise them as they do kind of go down this path where they do want to give University Stadium kind of a much needed facelift. And the $11 million that was detailed in the release and obviously in the story, that is paying for the entire video board. That the video board is should be around $1.5 million, if I remember correctly, and the rest of that $11 million will be pretty much solely dedicated to renovating at some point University Stadium and giving them kind of gradual upgrades. And it's not going to be an overnight thing. Obviously, this stuff is going to take a lot of time, but this is something that they really want to do.
2030, better get it done, or at least be in the works. Like, it better at least be in the works by 2030 is the unofficial deadline. I'll put a bow on Fern's talk to the Economic Forum and sort of the stuff going on right now with this comment that it is. I've heard a lot of good things about people's initial impression of Fern. Look, things were set up really nicely for him. Dave Williams, Eddie Nunez set up a lot of stuff really nicely. Bronco was here and had a good season that kind of got people excited about football a little bit again. Was before Fern. Patino getting Lobo basketball back on track. That was a hire before Fern. That said, Fern's been here 8 months and has found a way with his leadership group too. I'm not, credit and blame go to the AD. So I'll say Fern, but just know that like he's got a good little team around him of people that have seen to it that state lawmakers gave more money to both UNM and NMSU in state appropriations this year. And he did lobbying almost every single day during the legislative session. He drove up to Santa Fe. They set a new record for fundraising by almost $2 million more than their previous record, which had been the fourth consecutive year of new record-setting fundraising at UNM. So this was the fifth year of a new record. He has also gotten student fees increased, and the Board of Regents to agree with that after the president, Garnet Stokes, told, on his behalf, was on the same page with them and basically told the Board of Regents UNM has neglected funding athletics for too long. That's why we're in the position we're in right now. And UNM, if it ever wants to get to that next step or be at that conference level that a media rights deal is going to be funneling in millions more, we got to start doing this. So whether it was all set up for him or not, Fern didn't screw it up. At a minimum, Fern came in here and didn't screw anything up and got everything that was just lined up perfectly for him. Or you could give the guy some credit that a whole lot of money came from places that some people thought were tapped out. So that's all I'll say to that for now. And now we'll see what the business community does. That's sort of this next phase of stuff, right? He's trying to hit the business community for sponsorships and all that stuff. Couple questions, and then I'm going to ask Sean to sort of take the lead on practice preview that's about to start. Richie's asking, is there a chance Eck and or Olin might make an appearance on this program before the season? I would say not only is there a chance, this is an open invite for anybody who at UNM who may be listening or watching. We will take people from UNM on this show on a regular basis. I think next week, as soon as next week, we might already have someone. I don't want to imply it's going to be Eck or Olin, but as soon as next week, I think we might have a UNM related guest in this space, whether it's a Monday or Tuesday show long term, will be determined. Tell me again when the weekly pressers are going to be.
And this is for everybody too. Last year, the pressers were on Mondays, and it looks like Tuesdays are going to be the pressers now. So that is a scheduling note for everybody to keep in mind.
Yeah, and we probably I'm leaning towards 99%. I guess just since we haven't decided, I won't say 100, but I'm leaning towards waiting till that presser is done to do this.
It's more to discuss. I mean,
it's really more of a football recap show if we do it before that weekly presser. So we'll probably be moving this weekly show to Tuesday afternoons, sometime after that weekly presser that the football team has. And but more to come on that decision. But yeah, Eric Olin and I was gonna say Eck and Eric Olin can come on the show. Assistant coaches can come on the show. Players and administrators and other people at UNM. Let's get them on. They tell the story of UNM better than we can. We learn the story a little bit and then kind of tell it. But let's get them on to tell their story a little bit. One other question here. Hey guys, I love the show. Appreciate that, Tommy Tom. Excuse me, I had a question, Geoff. Where would you slot GCU this year in your preseason poll? I don't think they realize how hard the league is on new teams. I think you're right about that. I will say this, though. This weekend, I spoke with a reporter who was kind of putting together a preseason rankings of his own for a magazine he works for. And I haven't. I genuinely have not come up with the preseason poll other than I know number one is going to be San Diego State. Outside of that, Utah State and Boise State are probably the 2-3 in that range. I think all things fall in place. I think UNM could be there, but I think all things fall in place. Grand Canyon's a lot better team than I think some Mountain West schools are anticipating too. And let's just say if things fall into place for them, they could certainly compete up at that as high as number 2. I'm not saying I'm picking them too, but best case scenario for a UNM and a Grand Canyon might be number 2. And I will try and come up with the preseason ranking maybe by next week. And I do say all this to also add that my Talking Grammar podcast this week was supposed to be recorded tomorrow afternoon. A scheduling conflict I have for something I got going on tomorrow that came up really late means I won't be able to record it tomorrow when I thought I would. So I don't know for sure when we'll reschedule, but Bryce Drew, Grand Canyon men's basketball coach, is my guest on the next Talking Grammar to sort of introduce a whole lot of people to a school that just got thrown in the mix. We don't have a year kind of build up to when Grand Canyon's coming. They're here now, and I think they're going to be a top 4 or 5 team in the Mountain West in basketball. So people probably should start getting to know these guys.
How much Valpo talk is going to be on this pod?
There will be some.
I need some Valpo talk badly.
There will be some.
I really need some Valpo talk. Do you talk?
I want to ask him, and I'm going to pose this question, like not to him per se. Just I'll put it out in the universe now. Greatest college playing career of Mountain West coaches was probably Steve Alford, right at Indiana. But greatest March Madness moment. Now, of course, Steve Alford has a national championship, so maybe you could say that. But greatest March Madness moment, like 2 of the, maybe top 5, at least of more recent era, since 98 when Bryce Drew hit his big buzzer beater for Valpo. There was another one with the head coach in this league, Ali Farokmanesh. by
Northern Iowa. Yeah, you're right.
In 2010, his 3-pointer, they were up 1 and with like 40 seconds left. It wasn't a buzzer beater, but they're up 1 against who was it that they beat? Ole Miss or some good team?
No, Ole Miss was Valpo.
Yeah, Ole Miss. I'm sorry, Ole Miss was Valpo.
Kansas, Northern Iowa.
It was,
I think so.
Yeah, it was Kansas. It was Kansas. I apologize. Ole Miss was Valpo. But yeah, Ali guns up a 3 early in the shot clock. One of those stupid shots. Milk the clock. You're up 1, dude. Final minute. Instead, he just nails and he just knocks down a 3. So 2 of the greatest March Madness moments, at least of the past quarter century, 27 years actually, are now head coaches in the league. So let's see which one's best, and I'll start getting them to go at it a little bit. So I'll have more GCU thoughts next week, Tommy. And here we go. What do we have to do to lure Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates back to Albuquerque to turn them into super boosters? I don't know, man. Probably more than car magnets. Like New Mexico United got all their fans to throw on their cars. We got Layden saying 505 Sports Venture Fund, SVJ. It's actually Sports Venture Fund is a third-party donor. How is UNM going to go off NIL money if Trump executive order is going to prohibit third-party donors? I'll just be blunt. The executive order has no legal bearing. It won't happen. It can't happen. I don't want to poo-poo the question because it's being asked, but the answer is this: it's all for show. This isn't even politics. Any president that tried to do this, he doesn't have the control. The NCAA is a whole bunch of institutions within different states around the country. It is not a federal kind of executive order thing that can even happen. So I'm not going to waste time kind of entertaining it. Third-party donors. The reason we're in the situation we're in is because courts have already ruled that the players have a right to earn money based on their name, image, and likeness. Period. That right's not getting taken away from them, just like it's not getting taken away from any one of us to go make our money on name, image, and likeness. And so that's where that stands. You can get mad at me if you like, but I just kind of don't really entertain much of that executive order talk because it's impossible to happen. Tiki Taki Taco is asking, Jacqueline on the OD this morning was great. If anyone hasn't listened yet, I heard the tail end of it where basically they said, if you missed it, and so I did miss it. But yeah, I hear he was on, so go listen to that. Our friends at the opening drive had him on today. Sean, I'm going to hand this over to you. I did send you some questions earlier from an email that we'll touch on later. I don't think we're going to touch on all 10 of them.
We're not going to get to all 10. I'll tell you that.
But I will touch on some of these. But right now, why don't you set the table for what's about to happen with Lobo football and give us a generic preview of what to watch for?
Fall camp starts Wednesday. Finally, it feels like I've been writing the same 2 stories over the last 2 months, frankly, in terms of quarterback competition and depth and all that too. So we have real game football, but guys on the field practicing. Really good opportunity to finally get some clarity before the season. What this team, what the front line of this team is going to look like. The number one thing I think for fans and honestly probably for me too is just how's this quarterback competition going to play out. I've written about it way too much, frankly, probably over the last month or so. Without having really all new ways to put it, but it's pretty straightforward. Jack Lane, who was on the OD this morning, Idaho transfer, has played in X system, has done well in X system. He was obviously followed X to New Mexico. He, missed all but 1 practice in the spring because of an elbow injury. He is fully healthy, fully good to go. Might be on a little bit of a pitch count. More or less during fall camp, but it's going to be a competition between him and James Lobstein. Lobstein, really the only returning quarterback from last year that's still actually here. Had a good spring. Kind of diminished the way I could put it was kind of diminished. Some of Lane's advantage that he kind of had by just playing previously and all that too. And then the outside looking in, Cole Elver, UConn transfer, big guy. I'm excited to get eyes on him because I have not seen him live yet. And I really have only seen, high school tape at this point of him, frankly. I mean, I've seen a little bit of the UConn, but he didn't play a ton of UConn, honestly. The UConn tape, I should say. X said, he feels that right now that Lane and Lobstein are kind of the primary guys And then Gabriel Mochenbacher, who's basically Lobstein's backup, the second string quarterback during the spring. Mochenbacher, Welliver, and then Toa Fabe, who's an incoming freshman quarterback. They're all kind of on the outside looking in, but we'll see. I mean, I think there is a chance that a guy like Welliver could kind of play himself into the competition. But we're going to see it play out during fall camp. I'm kind of excited. We have not had a real kind of quarterback competition in the time I've been here. It's always been, hey, Dylan Hopkins is a starter, and hey, Devin Dampier is a starter, and it's been pretty clear cut. So excited to see how it plays out. And yeah, we'll have daily updates on that. The other things I'm going to be kind of looking for initially, you always kind of change how you look at things throughout fall camp. But for me in particular, we know Keegan Johnson is going to be wide receiver 1. I don't know who's going to be wide receiver 2. I don't know who's going to be wide receiver 3. It feels like a lot of things are a bit unsettled there.
Let me interject real quick because I do have a question that was on X replying earlier. Not here within the show, so I can't display it on the screen. But the specific question from Aztec to Tacoma, who said he has to get to work and he'll watch the rest of the show later, but he did have a question. What are your thoughts on new wide receiver Ray Gilbert? He had some pretty high offers. So as you mentioned, receivers, Ray Gilbert's a name I'm going to throw out there and ask you for some thoughts.
Yeah, Ray Gilbert, I believe he had offers from UNLV, Colorado State, San Jose State, and I think Wazoo, which are good offers. That's a good offer sheet, honestly. Really fast from what I know. I honestly have not seen any of his high school tape. He's an incoming freshman. We'll see what happens. He could be a guy that, is physically ready to play. I will say in particular, every time I've asked about the receivers with, Eck, an offensive coordinator, Luke Schleissner, the one name that keeps coming up is
Schleissner.
Yeah. That was weird.
I like it.
The one name that keeps coming up is Ziel Smith, who is an incoming freshman from, I don't know how to pronounce it, Tualatin, a high school in Oregon. He was an Idaho commit before that, then obviously flipped over once Eck went to New Mexico. They think he's physically ready, and they think he's gonna play a good bit this year. So I'm excited to get eyes on him and see, is he a guy that could be, one of the top 3 receiving guys as a freshman, all that too. And then, what is it, how is the pecking order going to kind of play out between guys like Mike Buckley, Sean Miller, Isaiah Blair, Cater Jope, all those guys, how is that going to kind of all sort itself out? And is the room kind of deep enough and all that to a certain degree? Because last year, one of the things I kind of, on the show I said a ton was, UNM probably doesn't have a true, X receiver. Well, they kind of did in Caleb Medford, but they didn't totally use him as such. He didn't have the production as such. But they had Luke Weissong and Ryan Davis, who had career years and were honestly terrific.
And Medford season is still just sort of a little bit of a head scratcher to me.
It was something I wanted to get answers on, and it just didn't. I don't know, but it's in the past. Obviously, UNM basically traded him for Keegan Johnson, the Kansas State trade there. So other things I'm looking at, Aztec Tacoma
They did not literally trade,
but it's kind of
things are changing in college sports all the time. I just want people to know there was not literally a trade between 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, I've written about the defensive line a good deal too. The 2 kind of noteworthy things that happened. I thought they were going to bring in more guys via the portal. They really didn't. They brought in Jalen McIver, a big kid out of Jones College in Mississippi. So that's a JUCO down there. I've heard pretty good things about him from workouts and all that. But obviously, we're going to be, get into real football situations, which is what this stuff is, all about. I'm excited to, see, is Brian Booker going to be a little bit more consistent during fall camp? And then they think this room is a bit deeper than it was in the spring because they moved Gabe Lopez and Okiki Olaronfunmi, who were primary edge rushers. They moved those guys inside. So Gabe's gained some weight. Okiki's gained some weight. Gabe was playing on the inside more during spring practice. I've seen a little bit of that there. I want to see him, with kind of, playing at the 262 and all that and seeing how that looks like. I have not seen a lot of Okiki on the inside, frankly. I know that was a little bit in spring, but not quite as prominent as Gabe. So curious to see what happens there. And then guys like Keyshawn James Newby are finally going to be healthy. That was a guy we did not see during spring ball. That is a guy that I think if UNM wants to, really bounce back on the defensive line in a way that they, just let's be honest. I mean, I've written about it too. The defensive line play the past 2 seasons has been pretty mediocre. It has just not been, UNM has finished, I think, oh my gosh, at or near the bottom of the country in terms of, sacks and all that too. And Keyshawn James Newby is a guy that has, done it at a very high level against really good opponents in the past as well. So I think if UNM does want to bounce back in a lot of respects up front, they're going to need a big season from James Newby.
All right, so you'll be looking at that position group in particular, but just to get to one other question that was on the old tweeter. Aztec 2 Tacoma's second question was this. What are Sean's thoughts on the depth at linebacker? Will we see a lot of rotation? A lot of rotation to keep the legs, to keep fresh legs. Sorry, I'm rolling through these. Keep fresh legs, definitely some talent there. Do you agree that there's a talented linebacker group?
I think it's a pretty talented group, honestly. I really like, Elijah Brody being in there too now. Like, I'm curious to see what he looks like after another kind of summer of working out and kind of packing on more muscle and all that too, because he had some moments during the spring. And he's an athletic dude. I think to answer the rotation part, I think they're going to rotate more than last year, and that's with last year where they just threw Dimitri Johnson and Randolph Kapai out there for 1 million snaps and did not give them a breather at all. I think they'll rotate a little bit more. And it's also, when they like to have that, the Nowinski defense, like a big part of it is kind of, what they do with, their posse package, their dime package, essentially, and all that too. So I think that's going to be kind of more prominent in ways that we really haven't seen in the time that I've been here. So that'll affect that kind of rotation element as well. But I do think it's a room with pretty solid depth, and it's got good experience. I mean, Dimitri Johnson obviously played 1 million snaps last year, very productive. Jackson Eck, guy that's done it again at a high level as well too. He's been there and done that at a certain point. So I think that the day one guys are going to be Dimitri and Jackson in the middle. And then Randolph Kapai. I mean, it was a guy that was awfully productive last year too. And Kapai, I mean, Eck mentioned that they might, in some situations, they're interested in maybe bringing him off the edge a little bit, which I think, Kapai's got good speed and he's got a good body for it. So, yeah.
All right. Got a couple questions. We could probably rapid fire answers some of these. First, let's just throw Richie real quick. They going to live stream any practices or no cameras? Questions there, really.
I don't think they're not going to live stream the practices. No cameras. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to be able to have cameras. So,
well, cameras are allowed during the same kind of portion of practice that's open, right?
I'd have to look at the practice format that we're doing this year. I was under the impression it didn't have any restrictions like that, but I got to look back at the email. So
the practice is okay. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
All right. Jeffrey Holland on YouTube is asking 3 questions here. The first one we're kind of talking about a little bit earlier, but is the goal to upgrade UNM Stadium or rebuild it? And he says, I can't see where a periodical upgrade is financially feasible, and it's a mess in its current state. I agree that it's a mess. And I also don't see, and I'll let Sean elaborate, I don't see a new stadium coming anytime soon as long as football hasn't shown consistent success. It needs the product in the field at this point. I think there's a lot of buy-in from lawmakers and from the university to back such a project, but not if the product itself isn't going to be a little bit better.
I got absolutely no sense from Fernando that a full-scale tear it down and rebuild it operation was kind of in the cards or anything like that. Upgrade was probably a clumsy word on my part. I should have just said renovation, like renovate University Stadium. And we'll see. I mean, we'll have more numbers in the finances at some point, honestly, depending on the direction that they want to go. So we'll see how the financially feasible point plays out for sure.
Another question.
That is a good question. That was clumsy wording on my part, frankly.
Another one here. Both Eck and Olin seem to have done really well, both of them getting out to local kids and coaches. I think that will pay off sooner rather than later. I would agree with you. I don't think that there's necessarily – I don't know that there's been there have been coaches around the country who have really had I'm speaking basketball specific, who have had a reputation within their own communities and recruiting circles that it just wasn't working, man. Like, oh, this coach just isn't recruiting the state anymore. And then you sort of, I don't want to say blacklisted, but you sort of you're not funneling, certain programs aren't funneling their kids to that school anymore. I don't think any coach at UNM basketball wise has really been to that extreme. But I will say that Eric Olin right off the bat has opened the door pretty quickly and pretty widely to state coaches and the idea of recruiting. If you're skilled, can knock down shots, you better be able to shoot 3-pointers. But if you're skilled and can knock down shots, he'll give you a look. As far as football goes, any comment on X sort of interaction with the local community so far?
No, I think I've said it a million times in this show. I mean, he's a guy that clearly understands the importance of obviously getting out, and that's not just a recruiting thing, but just kind of being known and showing your face around the community in a way that, is really important, honestly, for, a lot of the things that this football program wants to do.
If you want to look at the previous football coaches, the previous 3 football coaches at UNM, Danny Gonzalez was tremendous in the community and around the state with high school coaches. Bob Davie was not. Some of his staffers were. Bob Davie, the figurehead, the head coach, was not, and Bronco Mendenhall was not. Some of his staffers were just fine. I think there were some assistant coaches last year under Mendenhall that were probably making some inroads and doing good work around.
Well, and it's paying off for some of them. And Moses Sparks, a Cleveland product, he's going to play out for Jason Beck, who's the OC here last year at the University of Utah. So
as far as the head coach though, I'll tell you from my perspective, sort of not as close to it obviously as Sean, but not as far away from it as just a casual fan. I will tell you that Bob Davie and Bronco Mendenhall were not in the community. Danny Gonzalez was in the community to an extreme level because he's from here, right? His wife, he knew everybody. He knew every high school coach around the state. And there were a lot of New Mexicans on the roster then. And I do think Jason Eck has been thrown himself into the community and interaction and engagement on social media, as well as any football coach I think has ever done here. And that goes to his wife too. There's something to be said for the fact that he and his wife are both active social media people. That may not be for everyone. We're here on social media. YouTube actually is a form of social media in a way, but certainly X is. So we're here, but you may not all be watching social media types, right? But they are, and it's so many of the potential fans. And when you talk about growth potential of Lobo football, you got to find some new fans. A lot of them are on social media. So the fact that Eck is, and frankly, again, the fact that his wife is so active on it makes them look like they like it here. Look at them. They like it here. They're going to be here a while.
I need to bug Jason about this too. I will say one thing, obviously active on social media, sharp, tick down in the videos he used to do, just holding the phone. He had a good one, I think, in February, the Buc-ee's one. That was a good one. He's had a couple. He had one at the legislative session, but need to get to the bottom of it. What's going on? Where are the videos?
Did I tell you guys what when I met him, what he said to me last week? Did I say that on the show? When I finally met Jason Eck in person,
right? Like
after
I don't think you said it on the show.
Yeah, a few weeks back, I met Jason Eck in person for the first time and introduced myself. We knew who each other. He knew who I was. I knew who he was, obviously. But in person, we'd actually only met just a few weeks ago. And I said, Jason, what's up, man? I'm Geoff Grammer with the Journal. He's like, Geoff, I know you. Thought you'd be taller. So, so did I, Jason. So did I. I thought I'd be taller too. So, all right, number 3 from Jeffrey Holland. Do we think UNM football team will be defined more by offense or defense? I think that's a really good
Jeffrey, I love this question.
Certainly a good general question to lead into practice.
I love
defense first team or an offense first team?
Yeah, I think right now, in the sense that I have just a couple more questions about the defense and some things that they're going to be able to do, I would say define more by the offense. I could see that changing, but I think there's an element of you have this, you have a deep O-line, an O-line that certainly looks competent and up to the level. Do I know if it's going to be as good as any of the O-lines over the last 2 years? We're going to have to get to the games. Do I think it's going to be solid? Probably at worst, I think so, unless a bunch of injuries happen. And you have some really talented running backs. Quarterback is kind of a little bit of a question. We'll see how that plays out. But I know you have at least a wide receiver 1. He has to stay healthy and all that too. I'm gonna go with offense for now. But I love this question. It's a great way to think about it.
Let's just hope for all you Lobo fans and for Fernando Lobo hoping to get football right, and for the community, hoping football gets right, and for that 2030 deadline, let's just hope the team's not defined by special teams. When your team is known for your punter or your kickers and not for your offense or defense, look, you can have a great punter and a great kicker, but let's just hope that's not what the team is known for.
Hey, punt to win, man. Iowa football. Come on, man. Iowa might be a lot of fun this year with former Jasonet quarterback Mark Gronkowski. So yeah,
Gronkowski.
Yeah,
I like that name.
Justin, good to see you, man.
It is camp season. Let's roll. Somebody, that's tweeted like somebody who is about to get really busy in his life. Actually, he probably busy. I was gonna say maybe one more week of calm in Justin Apodaca's life, but Justin, a Albuquerque native, is very much in the midst of not in the midst. He's right in the middle of this college football world, and I don't think it's a secret. He works at. For anybody that doesn't know, Justin Apodaca works at La Tech. From Albuquerque, and he's about to get really busy. Football season's about to get really busy for him. Actually, you know what? His busy time might already be over. Right? He's putting together rosters.
I think he's going to be busy regardless.
He gets to kick his feet up. He gets to kick his feet up and just wait for Saturdays now, right, Justin?
I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Layden's got another comment. Any breakout players you guys believe that are going to impress us? Essentially, with the
we're hearing a lot of good stuff about Zio Smith, so that's a good candidate. I think with
the mostly new team. That just means who's not getting talked about? You haven't seen everybody yet.
No, I haven't. I mean, so I haven't seen Zio Smith, but he's getting talked about in a way that I could certainly see him being a potential breakout guy. Defense.
How about Daniel Hughes?
Say it again.
Daniel Hughes, isn't it Daniel?
Oh yeah, Daniel Hughes. I guess. I mean, I haven't seen him yet.
He's the Australian punter.
Defensively, not defense-wise. I could see. I haven't seen him yet. This is kind of it's bad on me to pick a breakout player if I actually haven't seen them live and kind of in front of me on a field, as opposed to just tape and all that. But I do like a lot of the boundary safeties they brought in: C.J. Johnson, Caleb Coleman, those kind of guys. I think those are guys that if they play up to their talent and potential, they certainly can make a pretty massive impact. So. I'll nominate those guys. And then maybe Kwan McCray and the linebacker. I didn't mention him earlier, but he is a guy that is really athletic, and I think he's going to bring some good stuff to the linebacker room in particular.
Back to the question, is this an offense first team or a defense first team? Very fair, almost – look, I would say this is actually, a comment that makes sense, which usually doesn't work on shows like this, but this makes sense. Considering the Lobos lost their entire offensive production from last year, you would probably say it's safe to say defense has nowhere to go but up. I would say this will probably be a defense first team. I don't think you're not replacing what Dampier and Wysong and that offense was able to do last year. I just don't see that happening.
I think you could still be an offense defined team. And not be at that kind of level of like offensive gratuity to a certain point and all that.
That's fair.
I think where you have the 3 games you're scoring 50 or more points and all that too. And that was truly to an extreme level an offense based team. But yeah, I see both sides. I would lean offense right now, but yeah.
Real quick, back to Justin Apodaca, who was saying it's camp season. Let's roll. Follow up to that.
Oh,
this is your vacation. This is it. Or you're already started today.
I think they've already started.
Yeah. So you now that it's already started, Justin, just kick your feet up. Just relax. Wait till next offseason when you got another roster to build. Tiki Taki Taco letting us know on YouTube that Eck actually just did one of those selfie videos on TikTok last week, and it cracks him up every time.
I am not on TikTok. I need to get on TikTok now.
I'm get there. Look, the 25-year-old's even sounding like an old guy, old fogey now. Like, I'm not on the TikToks. So look, I need to get on TikTok myself, but I'm an Instagram X sort of exclusive kind of guy. I guess I'm on Blue Sky too. So those 3, but I don't do TikTok. Luckily, basketball hasn't really affected me. But if you're telling me Jason X doing videos on TikTok on a regular basis, we're gonna have to get this young whippersnapper Sean Reider on up to speed and get him on the old TikTok.
I have avoided it. X and Twitter, that is my main vice, social media wise. So
X and Twitter.
X and or Twitter, depending on what you want to call it. But that is my main social media vice. But it appears I need to check out Jason on TikTok and see what he's got cooking.
All right, Sean. As we sort of hit the home stretch here and sort of wrap things up, we're in a spot at the Journal where things start picking up a little bit once football gets going. James Yotis, the high school sports guru, is about to just be miserable to be around because he is about to be as busy as can be for about a month doing just, preseason preview updates around the clock. I'm in a good spot. I don't it's basketball. Basketball's about to end this Friday and doesn't really start up again for a few weeks. So what do? I get to, me and Justin can kick our feet up together and just watch some football for a while. Right. And I will also say that certain combat sports is year round. There's no off season. So Rick's kind of doing that. And Ken certainly has some New Mexico United and some preseason volleyball, some basketball stuff he's doing. But really what we're looking at right now is this is Sean and James Yotis' time at the Albuquerque Journal. You two are about to be really, really busy.
That's my brother in arms right there. That's my guy.
You guys are about to be super busy. I'll just be flipping on this camera every now and then and recording some podcasts and some of these live shows. We'll have to get James on at some point too. We need
James on live. I kind of can't believe that never happened at some point.
Yeah, we'll get him on, and there will be one show. I know the vast majority. In fact, so far, why wouldn't anybody who's coming here be here for Lobo coverage? Because that's what we do. But we will do one of these live shows that has a little bit more slant towards giving people an idea about the high school scene coming up, the high school football scene around the state of New Mexico. But I do here a couple more. Let me throw these in real quick. Lobo Leroy, has the Wyatt Emmett situation been resolved? Do you have an update on that?
For those that don't remember, UNM put in to have because you sign up, you opt in as a coach to be in NCAA football 26, and Jason Eck, Luke Schleisner, Spence Nowinski, so head coach and the coordinators all opted in. But there was an issue apparently where the EA Sports guy reached out to somebody that used to be in charge of that at UNM, who has now since left for another position. So they were a little late with the opt-in. I don't know if it has been resolved in the sense that Jason is currently in the game right now. It was supposed to happen on whenever the next patch was. I don't have a copy of the game. I did ask him about it at Media Days, and he says he didn't even know because he hasn't played the game yet, but his sons have the game and they've been playing it. So I might need to text. Somebody, one of my buddies that does have NCAA football 26 because
he'll be he's in an update.
He's going to be in the game. I just don't know if it's resolved.
I'll jump to this one real quick here, and then I'll get to this other one.
We actually, Richie, and for everybody, yes, more Riders block very soon, actually, and probably a lot of episodes in a pretty short period, frankly. And then we'll be back to the regular weekly schedule during the season as well. Knocking things over.
Royce is saying prediction for the starting five, and then he gives his update here. I would say my prediction is the same except center. I think Tomislav Buljan, the 23-year-old center who's been playing professionally, will start over JT Rock. I think Patton is, even though Chol is huge, like Chol's listed at 6'9" and he's thick, and like I think Chol's probably going to be more of the three because I think he handles the ball a lot more. So I just flip Patton and Chol in the order you have there. But I will tell you this: there's a this doesn't excite people, but I'm telling you, they love Luke Hopp. He's the fifth-year Division II player, fifth-year player who's played 4 years of Division II is coming here. Doesn't seem to excite people because he was at D2, but they love what he does. He might get a lot of good, solid minutes at the 1/2, in the backcourt. I think Tajavius Miller from can't believe I'm spacing which Dakota it is. Is he North Dakota State? My apologies to the Dakota fans. But the North Dakota State transfer, who was the Summit League's sixth man of the year, I think he gets a lot of minutes at the 2. I don't think he'll start over Hal, but I think he'll be a guy that gets a lot of minutes. But yeah, I think Patton and Chol are going to be right in the mix. I think Milos Vicentic, who is the transfer from UC San Diego, will get a lot of minutes. And I think, like I said, Tomislav Buljan will be the starting center, with JT Rock getting some good minutes at the 5 off the bench as well. But man, I'm excited to see a little bit more of this basketball team myself. So I can answer questions like that a little bit better. Royce,
there we go.
Why is still UNM's coach. I play every day. You research every day. This is just research.
If UNM does have like a 3-9, 2-10, really rough year one for whatever reason, is it fair for him to be like, it was the Wyatt Emmett year? Like that was like that wasn't me. It was Wyatt Emmett.
Since Justin's got nothing else going on, he's going to do some investigating for us. And
let's go. Thank you, Justin.
Ben, this time of the year is about to begin. Basketball's not till November, Ben. I don't know what you're talking about. I am, unbeknownst to a lot of people, though, I'm actually more of a college football fan than I am a fan of college basketball. I just, I throw myself into what I do for work. But if I'm just picking myself, I'm actually more of a college football fan than I am a college basketball fan. I don't pretend to know college football as well as I know college basketball now, but that's just a byproduct of what I do. If I wasn't in sports journalism, I would be more of a college football fan.
Would you, do you think that's a little bit of a byproduct of the fact that you've just been covering college basketball so long? Because there are points, honestly, where I feel like more of a, and I love college football. I mean, it is still like my favorite sport, but at the same time, there are points where I feel like more of a college basketball fan than anything else.
I think it is because I've been covering. I don't know. That's a good question. College basketball has some sort of nicheness to it, some niche qualities that, however you want to pronounce it, that like if you're in, like you kind of feel like you're into that new band before anybody else is. Like it's a little bit niche enough where like you're niche enough where you're like, I'm a college basketball fan, so I want to like wear that on my chest and show everybody that I'm unique like that. Whereas college football, like it's so mainstream next to the NFL that it's not as like, you're not as like unique just saying you're a college football fan. That said, I probably still like college football.
There isn't a Trilly Donovan Discord equivalent for college football. No. The college basketball to me feels like it has like the most inside jokes of any sport whatsoever.
It probably does, because it has stuff like, look, even as mainstream as Ken Palm is, like the casual sports fan isn't like diving into Ken Palm and Bart Torvik and stuff like that. So like, and Trilly, like who even knows who Trilly Donovan is?
Fanta, like, Twitter Spaces, like that, that is, to me, that is better than a lot of like mainstream college football content.
Well, I'll tell you what, look, here's the thing is I can probably tell you if you're a college basketball diehard, if you know the name John Fanta. If you like, that's kind of maybe the litmus test, right? Do you know John Fanta or do you not? Or maybe
John Fanta, have you seen John Fanta let the Browns ruin his life Sunday after Sunday?
Or do you know Trilly? Do you know who Trilly Donovan? Have you ever heard Trilly Donovan? Maybe
actually not even. Have you heard of Trilly Donovan? Do you have a hunch on who Trilly Donovan actually is? Right. That might be
All right, rein us in here, Geoff. Jeffrey Holland, not this Geoff. I don't. What football game has the best chance to be an upset this season?
I think I kind of answered a similar question last week. I'll still go with Colorado State at home. I think that would be considered an upset. I think probably
historic, if nothing else, historically.
Yeah, the fact they've lost so much to Colorado State recently. So I'll go with that for now.
That could be they could be favored, and it would still just somehow, obviously not technically, not literally, people, but like it would be a monumental win and a historic win and maybe even an upset in some people's mind, just because they haven't beat them in 16 seasons. So you guys are hitting us with a whole bunch right as we're wrapping up here, but this year's Lobo men's basketball squad is definitely going to have size. Yeah, I think there were a lot of people during the recruiting process worried about that. I'm telling you, and I've said it on this show, they're plenty of length, plenty of wingspan, plenty of height. They got some size on this team. They're bigger than last year's team was, and last year's team was plenty big in relative to the rest of the conference. More New Mexico shoes ads on Reider's block.
Actually, no. That sponsorship is over. So, but hopefully we'll have another one soon.
I don't think you have to say hopefully. Utah State game of the season. In a lot of people's minds,
for whatever reason, I thought it was a basketball question for a second. I was like, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. I will say this about the Utah State game: it comes in a spot on the calendar that so much is already going to kind of be known. Maybe that we'll see what it means, like in terms of the season itself. The storylines are still going to be there, but man, wouldn't that game be great if
it kicks off like a win streak or something,
or there's still like something on the line, like a bowl.
Yeah. And I think there's a decent chance that something will be on the line there. So yeah, and it just has the narrative. So
Ben, I did not put this up when you posted it, so I don't know for sure what this is in reply to, but I'm sure it's going to be one of my wonderful, witty remarks. So thank you, Ben. I have no idea what that was for. Gonzalez, howdy, gents. Geoff, what would it take for the name of the pit court to be changed from Bob King Court? If it would change at all. So two things there is it would take a lot of money. And I don't think it will happen. I also think that once Wise Pies came in and really Dreamstyle as well, frankly, when they started changing the name of the pit from University Stadium, even though it was never technically called the pit, but when people started calling it Dreamstyle Arena or Wise Pies Arena, aka the pit, there were some people that got so offended by that I don't see UNM anytime soon having a facility name change at the pit anytime soon. The court might work, but it might be called something like Bob King Court at, Taco Bell floor or something weird like that. I don't know why Taco Bell.
Really imaginative there.
Yeah, since Boise State was actually Taco Bell Arena for a while, maybe I should have done that. All right, my college basketball fandom starts when conference schedule begins. All right, fair enough.
I think it's feast week for me. I think that's when I tap in all the way.
John Fanta, when he projected us to be in the Final Four, fair enough.
He also predicted Michigan State to that Final Four too. And,
he has been pro Patino. Be it St. John's or be it New Mexico, Fanta is a pro Patino guy. That is for sure. Got three more here. We'll rattle off. Should UNM football the video of Bronco crying on the video board, like flash it if we get a turnover?
So they would have more than one option video-wise to work with. Should they? Probably not. Will they? Absolutely not. They will definitely not do that. But yeah.
Will people there be tempted to?
Will people there be tempted to is a different matter. Yes, that's a good way to phrase that.
Jaden is letting us know. Fun fact.
He's a Will Wade guy. That's right. I remember that.
Interesting.
I still don't know who he is. But do you think what's like the fourth tier or whatever of like being a college basketball sicko? Have you ever scrolled Tony Patelis' account? Have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah. He's not a big fan of the UNM Lobos or the Mountain West in general.
I'm surprised you have not had a bumping around with Tony Patelis at any point.
Yeah, I don't think we have. I don't recall. I know
shout out Tony Patelis. I like Tony Patelis. So
I think he's responded to some of my tweets about the Lobos and being critical, not so much of me or what I said or how I said it, but like of the content, meaning like if I said the Lobos did this, like he would then kind of rip into the Lobos and stuff like that. But I don't think he and I have ever had had any kind of interaction that I can recall.
That's awfully surprising in a lot of respects, but yeah,
college basketball has its world, and a lot of it lives and resides on social media.
It was like a little club sometimes, man.
It is a little club. Hey guys, I appreciate you guys for being on. Like I said, we probably at some point during the season we'll move this to Tuesdays, since that's when the weekly pressers are going to be. But for now, we'll I guess be sticking to Mondays. But keep an eye out on social, and we'll let you know. We'll be getting this branded a little bit more. There's no question about this, Jeffrey Holland. Does Geoff's daughter dominate the basketball picks this season? Not only will she dominate, she has 2 years left of high school, and I'm in a weird spot now where I got to decide. Okay, my 15 going on 16-year-old daughter is who's been doing the picks forever. I got a 6-year-old now who I got to get involved somehow. I got to figure something out. I don't know if I'm going to have them both pick. I don't know if I'm going to wait till maybe one graduates high school and then pass the torch, or what I'm going to do. But if I don't get the second daughter involved here pretty soon, I'm probably going to have to watch. Be careful when I sleep, because she wants to be more and more involved in the podcasting world. Okay, Sean, next week, same time, same place ish.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for your engagement, for being a part of the show, helping us out. Check out, I will have a podcast sometime this week on college basketball specific. I'm also doing some of the 505 or what's up in 505. I should have a few of those hit again this week soon with some names, and so check those out. And Sean will have Reider's Block coming up soon, it sounds like.
And we will have a load of fall camp content, be it print and digital and social media and videos and all that. So keep your eyes posted for that. It's like Ben said, it is the best time of the year. I genuinely love covering fall camp. So yeah, I
will throw this out there as a sort of another tangent. The Isotopes, who do well attendance wise, still lead the Pacific Coast League this year in attendance. So I know some of you guys go. Following a AAA team via the local newspaper isn't what it once was. But I'll tell you this is a 2-week homestand for the Isotopes. This Saturday night is the Dukes Retro Night. I know a lot of Albuquerque people get excited about that. It's the Albuquerque Baseball Hall of Fame night. 2 inductees, Franklin Stubbs and AJ Ellis, who caught more pitches from Clayton Kershaw as a Dodger than anybody else, but was also an Isotope before that. Those are the 2 being inducted to the Albuquerque Professional Baseball Hall of Fame Saturday night, which is also the Dukes Retro Night. So if you want to see the old school Dukes gear and jerseys on Saturday night, Isotopes Park.
They are absolutely wonderful jerseys. So yeah,
mustard yellow.
There is one more comment I think you got to get in before we shut it off. There's one more.
Best feud in sports analysis is Grammer versus Tim Brando. I wouldn't know, man. I don't even. The guy has me blocked and has since 10 years ago when I made a comment about the UFC. I replied to his comment about the UFC. Anyway, don't get me started on Tim Brando. Everybody loves Tim Brando.
We got a good shout, Lobo Leroy. That's a good shout.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.